In YouTuber Shane Dawson's 2019 docu-series, he gives us an unbiased, unfiltered look into the beautiful world of Jeffree Star, who is featured visibly orchestrating events and controlling the release of information so often you'd think it's Vladimir Putin with pink hair plugs. Nothing says hard-hitting expose like a fully authorized biography by two people who I wouldn't trust with the combination to my gym locker. And all I keep in there is a trash bag of stolen jock straps. I'm just kidding. I take those home each night to age in an oak barrel. Over the next couple of months, I'll be breaking down every installment of Shane's 6-part series on Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And if you thought there wasn't enough drama, conflict, or interesting information to warrant over 5 hours of runtime, then you have better instincts than the filmmaker, who seems to think the subject of his movie can shift and change depending on whatever he decides to be talking about for the next 10 minutes. So let's dip our makeup brushes into this vlogumentary with about 1 zillion things to focus on and 0 things to say about all of them. And 2 insufferable personalities competing to see who can fabricate the most authentic looking on-camera persona. It's time to take liquid lipstick way too seriously in a Shane Dawson documentary installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite web content, movies and TV movies, and we smash them into pieces like we're on a construction zone. And I'm the manager of the sledgehammer manager, breaking up little things into clips and saying, that's a good piece of stonework right there, or no, that's rotted from the inside. And baby, you can already guess which of the two this is gonna be today, because we're dipping our toes back into the Shane Dawson pool. You asked for it and I'm providing. We are finally breaking down some of Shane Dawson's docu-series. Up until now, I feel like I've mostly only looked at his narrative work. In fact, way too much narration in it. And I am sad to say the same problems carry over to when he's trying to do something based on true events. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns on Shane Dawson's series other than this one. We're really off to a great start today. Also, if you're new here, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new videos every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I'm smashing more rocks for us to look at. This movie, show, horror, nightmare needs no introduction. Let's get into the clips.
Scans the internet for coupon codes, then automatically applies a coupon with the biggest savings to your cart at checkout.
That's me spreading antibiotic on my eyes before watching any more Shane Dawson content. Why does this 1-minute sponsorship require more stock footage than a low-budget true crime show on Oxygen? It doesn't matter, because pretty much right off the bat, we start to understand just how much of our time is going to be wasted by Shane Dawson throughout this thing. There is no joke 3 minutes of teaser at the beginning that just kind of takes footage from throughout all of the episodes that are going to be coming our way. Some of this was in the trailer that he put out for it, but a lot of the stuff from the trailer didn't make it into any of these episodes, which was a source of contention for a lot of viewers at the time. We then get 40 seconds of music and credits where it's like to this cover song, and I'm just like, this is a YouTube video. Why do we need pre-roll credits? There's 4 people in it too. Like, okay.
For the season of loving.
Okay, so I guess we're just pretending that acts of business is a term that people use, even though it's definitely not. In New York City, the dedicated documentarians who investigate these vicious acts of business are known as the Stupid Video Unit. These are their stories. Dun dun! Throughout the making of this series and its promotion, Shane always talked about wanting to show us the business side of things and how we all seemed more interested in the business side of things and not the drama. Although I think all he really taught us about it was that you can just use the word business a lot and it makes you sound smarter and more important than you are. The documentary begins with Shane getting ready to go with Jeffree to some meet and greet event in Sacramento.
He's kind of in control of the whole thing. So he was like, hey, I have a car picking you up at 5 o'clock and you're getting on a private jet. I'm freaking out, and I know you kind of are too because we both have a fear of flying. If you Google private jet plane accidents, it's crazy. It happens more often than normal planes.
Yeah.
Because they're small and then you have big people and then they crash.
With the amount of time you're devoting to airline accidents in this documentary, at this point, I'm gonna be disappointed when this thing doesn't crash. You're gonna find me on the wing of that plane fucking with the engine like I'm your personal nightmare at 20,000 feet. I remember people at the time that this video was released being like, you gotta give it to Shane, he's an incredible editor. Sure, if you love unattributed B-roll from movies that he had nothing to do with. I live in the land of fair use where that's like fair game to me, but I mean, is it best practices for someone who considers themselves a serious documentarian? Probably not. It's certainly not the same as licensing all of the stock footage you would need to make your B-roll interesting and exciting. That would probably be the way that gets everybody paid for your, you know, thing that you're profiting off of. But or imagine this, if you didn't need to use a bunch of pre-produced stuff as B-roll because you get enough coverage of interesting stuff and lay it over whatever you're talking about. Shane like intentionally doesn't layer his footage in a way that makes this condensed and easy to watch because he's trying to build it out to 6 episodes when it truly doesn't need to be more than like a 2-hour movie. I just think for Shane Dawson, someone who's, in my opinion, never made a successful film, had an opportunity to make a tight feature-length documentary here that people could have taken seriously, but he chose to go the more profitable route and went 6 parts, you know, which is 6 hours of runtime with millions of views, plus high-end sponsorships from Honey. And my other problem with it is what he says here. Jeffree's basically in control of the whole thing. He's got a private jet picking us up, and it just goes to show that the rest of this episode is just Jeffree Star love-bombing Shane Dawson and Shane Dawson lapping it up like one of Jeffree's little Yorkshire Terriers or whatever. I think they're definitely Pomeranians, but I'm not a dog bitch. I'm a bitch. And I'm rich, and every time I step out on the street, it's Nick. Oh no, this plant doesn't look good. Another part of this narrative was like Shane was immersing himself in the beauty world, and he was really into becoming like a makeup artist.
I've been practicing. I have my brushes, I have my beauty blenders, I have my palettes, my mirrors.
Shane Dawson is getting into makeup, and according to Jeffree Star, he's good at it.
Baby, Jeffree Star lied to you and those internet news outlets, okay? I need you to take that in. If anyone else on Earth posted those pictures, Twitter would have roasted them in the town square like a prize hog. But in the age of Shane Dawson being the Oprah of the internet, no one was originally allowed to make fun of this attempt because you see, makeup was Shane's way of getting rid of his anxiety. Well, that eyeshadow blend is giving me anxiety, so it's a stalemate. I can say whatever I want. I'm not saying I'm the world's greatest makeup artist. This is exactly the type of work I was still doing when I worked at a luxury makeup counter. But to be fair, my crystal meth use was blurring a lot of the harsh edges in reality at the time. And although I could definitely talk to you for 6 hours, I was at least gonna be entertaining. This much I know.
I was gonna get a shot of you through the mirror, maybe say something dramatic.
Oh, just a quick note for Andrew, the camera operator. Can you remember to shut the fuck up when people are talking? I'm sorry, internet. I know we love Andrew and he's adorable and he was working really hard to, you know, hold the camera throughout all of this. To the point where I am aware of his effort in almost every single shot. Like Shane was really pushing it by calling this vlog series a like docu-series. Like what are you documenting? The sounds of your camera's autofocus and zoom lens? Because it seems like we've captured that in stunning Dolby Digital surround sound. Woo! This was just like doomed from the start. Like you can do a one-man band and shoot a documentary, but if you're gonna be on camera, then your camera operator either needs to be like a producer and camera operator or just focusing on shooting. I don't think Andrew was really super experienced with like story producing, so he wasn't exactly asking hard-hitting questions. So it just left Shane to be on camera trying to like sell everything and like make crazy expressions to fill the time, and then Andrew would just be giggling in the background. Anyway, if you're pretending like that doesn't get a little tiresome, like I got a bridge to sell ya, I got a bridge to Terabithia to sell ya, and when that rope swing snaps and you drown, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Shane is talking about how the beauty world has exploded since he decided to shoot this documentary, and you get some like interesting editing quirks here that I just think like confuse the tone of what he's trying to do as usual.
Girl, okay? No ma'am, busted the house.
How could you have left Uncle Jeffree over money? How could you do it?
Who do Snorlax and Kermit the Frog have as an agent? Because they were just featured more prominently than this episode's actual fucking point. I hate the feel of Shane's documentaries because you see him on camera refusing to take anything seriously, always using humor to hide his insecurities, which is fine, but then in the edit, it's treated more self-serious than the memorial video that I volunteered to make for my neighbor as a teen. And it was the last time I'll ever work for free since that dead bitch didn't even tip me. If you titled this The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star, then why do we spend the first half hour watching you get ready to go there? You're not flying to the moon, you're just driving to another house in the hills. Oh my god.
Oh, also, since we filmed the first series, the entire beauty community fucking exploded.
Oh god, he's teasing his hair even higher. Andrew, did you bring the wide-angle lens? For those who don't know, Gabriel Zamora at this time tweeted a shady tweet about Jeffree with what's her face, blah blah blah, Laura, blah blah blah. So everyone was fighting. It was called Dramageddon.
When everybody was like talking about like Manny and Laura and all these people, I literally was having anxiety and I was freaking out. Are these people mad at me? Because they all follow me on Twitter. Are they mad at me now? Do they hate me now? Like, what does that mean? But I just literally choked on drama.
I'm sorry, when did Pennywise the Clown become interested in amateur videography? No wonder Shane is getting himself worked up over other people's low-stakes Twitter drama. He's talking about it like he just woke up in a saw trap, especially since Andrew's right there, like... Again, no harm, no foul to Andrew, especially since this is not his movie. I put the blame on Shane Dawson, who for some reason refused to invest in external microphones for this. Or hire a real camera operator and let Andrew help produce. He could have a clipboard with questions of things that, you know, Shane really wanted to get on camera, and then use those responses as the base for B-roll of stuff that the camera person was shooting. And then maybe there could have been segments or days where Shane was holding the camera himself, so we get that feel of him being the vlogger. Then there's some variety to it, but what we're just stuck in this whole time is gets monotonous quick. I think any of those moves would have been a fair thing to ask for Shane to buy for this project, since he stood to make millions off of this whole thing once it was said and done. But I guess that depends on whether the creator has the humility to hire people who have more experience than they do to help improve the overall quality of the work. I don't think Shane is especially good at that. We've seen it again and again.
I don't know what that means. Am I literally involved in that now?
No.
Do I have to get involved in that?
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, again, but you've pretty much decided that you will be getting involved by co-creating this documentary with somebody who's on one side of the conflict. It's crazy to me that you don't see the connection. That must be the same attention to detail that you pay to landscaping your multi-million-dollar mansion, which is what we get to see now. Ryland, Shane's Beyonce, actually throughout the end of this, is sad that Shane didn't invite him to go along to Jeffree's house. So they're kind of having a moment about that. I don't mind this because it's like, oh, we got a glimpse at what the documentarian is giving up or sacrificing in order to make this movie. Did we need all of the talking before it? No. It could have been 2 minutes of this. And even this is kind of weird.
Watch your paws!
Do you think the dog even knows what his paws are? Or is he just trying to get the toy that you're waving around while you hit him with a golf cart? Also, if there's one thing that seeing the inside of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star's homes has taught me, it's that the downside to having a huge McMansion is that if you have no taste, there will be a lot of rooms that look like garbage. Or in this case, even vacant lots of dirt for some reason. But Shane doesn't want you to think that he could afford to have a housekeeper.
Here's the thing, can I just say, people think, oh, Shane, we're sick of Shane acting poor and like acting poor around Jeffree. I am poor around Jeffree.
I mean, you're a poor filmmaker, that's true. But explain to me how being worth like $12 million and calling yourself poor is in any way appropriate. Even if you mean in relation to someone else with $100 million. Like whether or not Shane has ever personally done it before, he also has enough money to fly in a private jet pretty much whenever he wants, or to buy pretty much anything that Gucci makes. He just, you know, doesn't do that.
Like I grew up poor and then I started YouTube and then the money like slowly, you know, progressed. But even now, it's not like I'm getting like $1 million checks or like, I'm not Bad Baby. I'm not signing like $1 million deals or...
Oh, I get it. Shane is still poor because he grew up poor before making the millions of dollars he now has. That's way different than Jeffree, who grew up poor before making millions of dollars that he now has. If your sympathy is having a hard time finding a place to live right now, it's because everyone on screen is basking in more financial success than most people on Earth will ever enjoy. It just felt so weird weird to me. He's like, well, see, I grew up poor, and as you can see from this slightly dirty swimming pool, like, I really had it rough, and then the money slowly came in, and that's why I act poor. It's like, that's not an excuse. You've been making money for longer than you were poor at this point as a 30-year-old man. Would it be so bad if he just owned up to it and was like, I just love to react in extreme ways to all of the extreme luxury things that Jeffree buys, because I would never spend my money on them, and I know that you guys like to see how much he shops. You know, like, God, just say that, because it's so much less cheesy. Also, he uses Bad Baby as an example. That girl does not make as much money as Shane Dawson does, so shame on you for just throwing that person's name in there to try to like distract from what your point is. The same way Shane Dawson doesn't like putting too much money into the production of his docuseries, I don't like spending too much money at the grocery store. And with other meal kits, they've been a little pricey. But now with Every Plate, the sponsor of today's video, I'm convinced that you can get the same delicious food delivered to your door for a much more affordable price. Every Plate offers a rotating menu of 14 delicious recipes every week, and they all use a range of different flavors and ingredients, so I don't get bored like I do when I just order the same chicken tenders every night. Throwing together these affordable, easy meals means more time and money to spend doing all of the fun stuff that I love to do that's not cooking or being at the grocery store. The easy-to-follow recipe cards and pre-portioned ingredients, like the ones that I use to make this a delicious meal, I was able to spend less time prepping and cooking and more time just actually enjoying the food that's on the pictures. Try Every Plate for just $1.99 per meal plus an additional 20% off your next 2 boxes by going to everyplate.com and entering code DiRamio199. That's up to a $100 value for your pocket. Now, let's get back in, now that our stomachs are full, to this meal of bad documentary. So finally, Shane gets in the car to go to the private jet to meet Jeffree. They're trying to get some emotional stuff in here, but you can't even hear it, so that's good.
We just had like a whole moment with Rylan where we went upstairs and we like prayed over each other to make sure we're both safe.
Why are those the types of moments that you kick the camera out of the room for? Don't you feel like that would have been more humanizing than calling yourself poor after riding around your hilltop estate in a golf cart? Literally, don't tell me about this moment where you're praying, just show me. Because that's the stuff people don't see on YouTube of you.
I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, but like, I wanna get married, I wanna have kids, I wanna like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I love how Shane thinks he's spilling his guts out here, but he can't even speak loud enough for the driver to hear him. Do you want people to know your story or not, Mr. Whisper? Because all I'm hearing right now is that, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god is a pretty serious verbal crutch for you, and that this Chevy Suburban you're riding in has really smooth handling. As I scroll through this, it's so crazy because he just flips to B-roll of later parts of the series so much earlier. Like, he just gives you like glimpses of footage that he's gonna show later, and it's like, what you're talking about right now should be interesting enough without the whole thing serving as a teaser for what's coming ahead. Like, this is the actual content, not a teaser for the next episode. Just make it interesting, or short enough so that every part is interesting. Anyway, they arrive at the airport, at the private jet, and Shane, it's as though he's never seen an aircraft before. It's like 1901 and he just met the Wright brothers. Don't fact check those dates. I didn't go to history.org for this info. Ew, the voice that I just did. Let's go to the clip.
There's a button right in the middle.
Oh.
See the little button?
This one?
There you go.
I'm just gonna pee.
And it's gonna make a great moment in your 6-hour vlog. So glad we're capturing this. I'm not saying that I'm not interested in seeing a tour of the private jet that Jeffree Star owns, but that's not the same as me just having to watch Shane Dawson be insufferable on the private jet that Jeffree Star owns. That's a tongue twister. Private jet that Jeffree Star owns. Shane, again, is afraid of being on this private jet, which I just have a hard time believing isn't played up to be interesting, because frankly, it's otherwise not that interesting. If you just got on a private jet and were like, oh my god, it's so cool that Jeffree owns this plane, 30 seconds of showing me the different features of it, that's all we need. If he was like, ooh, I'm gonna be afraid of lifting off, say, but like, it could be so much shorter.
So I'm nervous. That's normal, right? For first time.
You know, there's 2 fears you're born with in life: loud noises and fear of falling. And both of those are associated with an airplane.
Yeah, especially the loud noises part. That aspect is really coming through on camera right now. You got a Gulfstream jet roaring in your ear this whole time, and you don't want to put microphones on it? Like, just cut this.
So that That's why people are scared to fly.
Shane's reacting like he didn't know that people's fear of flying was associated with their fear of falling out of the sky. That's not something special this guy learned in pilot school, Shane. He's just trying to make polite conversation with you because you're acting like a weirdo.
I've been doing this a long time.
Oh, see, then I feel fine. Like, so is it like a myth that smaller planes crash more? Got it.
No.
But you don't crash more.
Well, the only thing that's probably...
A lot of silence.
But, I don't know.
This pilot is like, I don't know what the fuck you're giggling about. Can I go back to the cockpit now? Why does this scene make it so uncomfortably clear how people who don't watch YouTube just see Shane and his crew as the self-absorbed, childish, and tiresome grown adults that they are? Why are you treating this pilot like he's your dad and it's 9 p.m. at your 10th birthday party? He's seen your ID and he's looking right at your face. Both say that you're over 30, so start acting right. I'm literally cringing watching this because I'm like, ugh, I just don't like it. It's like, not everybody you meet is just some puppet for your skit that you can react off of, and you're not just the funniest person in the room all the time. Like, guy's gonna be flying you across the country. Shut the f up. Anyway. I thought that was the sick Triceratops from Jurassic Park. I was about to start looking out for raptors. Now, I wouldn't be making fun of Shane's facial expressions if I thought he couldn't control them, but they're just a habit that he's refined by spending so many years on camera trying to sell like uninteresting schlock as somehow funny. I don't think the best humor is just about exaggerating someone's expected reaction to the extreme. I think it's funnier when you're cleverly subverting people's expectations, like the time I ate that dog's homework and threw it up in his bedroom. So Shane's at the plane, and then Jeffree Star arrives, as does Lipstick Nick, Jeffree's makeup artist. You can tell Jeffree Star was ready to perform.
I don't think life is ready for two big players to be taken out at once. Come on, pal.
Why did Jeffree show up to this plane ride with the energy of someone who's about to host an episode of SNL? He is on. You know what they say when they have two personalities like Jeffree's and Shane's on one small plane? No, you do not have permission to land. Everything is annoying about the plane ride. I'm shocked that we're still talking about the plane ride 26 minutes in. Like, if you had just written this all down, Shane Dawson, as a storyboard and been like, all right, here's what we have. Me talking about the plane, me getting on the plane, us riding on the plane to the event. Okay, that should work for about 1/12 of the entire runtime of this 6-hour thing. That doesn't sound right to me. 6 hours is too long for you to be around with this type of detail. Like, shorten it. A 6-hour docuseries would have been interesting if he literally like was covering a different brand in every single one, or a different YouTube creator in every single one, but that would take a lot more effort.
Oxygen, if you need it, comes out of here and there. Been flying 30 years, haven't used it yet.
That's right.
Plan on it this trip.
Okay, now the narrative has somehow become that Shane has never flown on a plane in his life. Because right now he's acting scared of the same things they say on Delta Economy Plus. But he's doing better because he's not sitting next to a couple who wore their bathing suits on the plane. Do you guys remember when that lady called Jeffree Star Uncle Jeffree?
How could you have left Uncle Jeffree?
I think about that in my dream sometimes, like Uncle Jeffree. He's trying to be cool older cousin Jeffree for sure right now. Jeffree Star has always been like that cool, edgy person on MySpace, and it still comes through in all of this. Like, if you're 16 and you dye your hair, yes, this is the coolest person ever.
Is that weed?
No.
Your ID now?
Yeah, I have your ID thing.
Why do you have so many IDs?
Oh. What do you mean?
And so begins the narrative that Jeffree Star's personality and business savvy somehow makes him similar to a mob boss. You can almost feel Shane making that connection as soon as he overreacts to Jeffree having a driver's license, a passport, and a library card. He's not exactly Whitey Bulger, more like Whitey Slender.
Just like the airlines. No difference.
Mama, you have a bag of weed on a private plane in a state where that's completely legal. Stop trying to act cool for the young people who live in the red states, okay? I feel like Jeffree Star wants to have it both ways. He's like, I've never touched a drug before besides marijuana. I've never drank alcohol, even though there's kind of like pretty strong evidence that yes, he has from like his own Twitter. But then he also wants to be like, and I'm cool and I do drugs and I have threesomes. And it's like, okay, well, I don't actually care. All of those things are just any, like, cause nobody's cool or not not cool for doing any of those things. You're just focused on how you look when you do these things and how they play into your brand, and it's kind of obvious.
Just for the record, my bodyguards are always armed. On the 1% chance they shoot to kill. On that note, I'm hungry.
Why did that pizza bite make a gunshot sound? Also, what is with me caring that his bodyguards have a gun? Like, that's the whole point. On the 1% chance that something happens, they shoot to kill. Does that mean 1 out of 100 times that you leave the house, your bodyguards have shot someone dead? I don't believe that statistics, Jeffree Star. I want to see your reports. Shane on this part goes into basically the closest I really ever see him talk about like insecurities around his weight. Like, he always touches on it, but he never really talks about how it happens. He does mention that there are some videos that track his weight gain, and he's afraid that that's going to be what it's all about. To me, it's just such an interesting choice. I know he had limited options because he's the on-camera face of his channel. Like, he has to appear in his vlog series, but like, if you're that insecure about the way you appear all the time, to go into this topic, your insecurities will be on full display all the time. Like, it's a lot to watch. It's exhausting because I feel bad for one, and then I feel bad for two, like for myself. Once the whole gang gets to their hotel in Sacramento, Shane has a minute to kind of debrief with Andrew.
It's like the mafia.
Why?
I don't know. It's crazy. Like, even in the car, it was like, are you filming? It's like, no. It's like, okay. And then they would start like whispering about things.
Yes, that coquettish, gossipy giggle felt just like being in the mafia. I agree. I wish that Shane would have combined all of this nonsense with like some actual sit-down interviews where it's just Jeffree Star appearing on camera. And maybe then he beefs that up with interviews with other people involved in the drama, like Laura Lee, gets Manny's side of the story. Then you're like actually going out and doing what you said you'd be doing, like trying to heal the beauty community and find new truth. But it seems like he just kind of got exhausted by making this palette and clearly sidetracked by that whole hustle that we really lose the story of pretty much anything else that he advertised in the trailer. It's just the Shane Dawson show. It's just the Shane and Jeffree show, which I guess that's what you sign up for, but I get really bored with it. Like, I'm already bored and we're only on the first episode.
I woke up to all these like screenshots of this thing. There is breaking news, and it says, is there tension between Jeffree and Shane?
Right. I get all of my breaking news from the Snapchat Discover tab. The way they're trying to spin this like it's breaking news. Baby, I know that's not breaking news. Next, we do kind of get this little sit-down thing. Shane in all of his creator documentaries would like sit on the couch and talk to the person, and that's where you get the true tea. But it always just feels like softball questions trying to get the best looking portrayal of the other person.
I was with you the last time you launched a product. And I was like, you're gonna sell out in like 2 seconds. You're like, I'm still nervous. You could build all of this and have all of this, and you're still like nervous that it's gonna go away. And I think that's what makes somebody successful. When I see other people being like, can't wait to sell out tomorrow, like, here we go, biggest launch ever, like all that stuff.
Like that cocky attitude.
That's not Jeffree. That's never been a part of the Jeffree Star brand.
Bye!
I think what sucks about Jeffree Star is that he literally tries to pick and choose his personality depending on the narrative. Like, he acts like he's this big, scary person. He's like, I will literally fuck you up. And then he's like, I'm just like a really humble, sad, lonely person who just gets hurt. And then he'll be like, and I put on that other thing. And it's like, I get that you're saying that, but like the fact that you're not seeing that as the issue, that you have this false self and then this personal self, and I'm supposed to just believe that this is the real one and this is the fake one. Like, excuse you for doing awful things? Like, that's a little hard to believe because it's so convenient. And then Shane Dawson is equally as unself-aware because he's always like, I hate my body, talking about how it negatively affects her life. So it's like, we're watching this armchair psychology from two people who I don't think really know themselves very well. So it kind of just makes it feel like, what are we watching here? Just rich people thinking that they have a right to interview each other, which is great. Great.
It's like shrimp, making it that I'm in, coming with your freshness.
I'm annoyed because they've hired male models to serve the cotton candy, but those guys clearly have had no practice on how to roll the perfect cone. Those things look like the spider's nests on a crabapple tree. As a cotton candy machine owner of several months, I still haven't nailed my technique, and they just wanted to hand the job over to two twinks with a dream? Look at this chaos. That was me grabbing onto the only thing I came to the mall for. I would be skipping out of that fire exit with a fistful of melted sugar in my hand. Like, it was worth breaking that 16-year-old's arm. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. I could do without most of the full-length musical montages in this series because they lose their impact when they happen more than once an episode, which they always do. There's 2 or 3, and they're just boring. Listen to these lyrics.
Laying here in silence cause I cannot find a damn remote. Even if I found it, I would probably just flip and flip.
You'd probably just flip and flip? I refuse to believe this is Shane's first choice for the song he wanted to license here. He was probably like, we can't get Counting Stars? Okay. To me, any of this footage where he's like walking through and like greeting people could easily be laid over with voiceover from another piece of footage where he's talking to Andrew about what this is all like. It's kind of like being in the mob, like the crowds of people, the swarm, never being alone. And that's when we're getting all of this stuff mixed in. So you're pushing the story forward without just giving me one single stream of consciousness for the whole thing, because that's gonna take forever. Like, I really feel Shane's inability to edit his own thing. And I understand you went out and had this incredible experience, all of these life-changing events, but you have to cut the footage. You're gonna have hours and hours of footage, and not all of it's gonna be worth seeing a few minutes of. Some of it, I can get the feeling of how incredible and life-changing this was in just a few seconds. When we see Shane walk out into the mall and all of the people are up on the balconies and cheering for him, that's an incredible moment that I think is really impactful. But it gets completely lost in this series because it was just a blip in this whole thing after minute upon minute of them talking about plane crashes and private plane bathrooms. No emotional weight was given to the most cinematic part of the whole thing because we didn't get to stop and hear Shane's reaction to it while it was happening, you know, which we could have just through better editing. So I don't want to talk about how Shane is a good editor because I don't think he is. I don't think he ever has been. So then they get back on the private plane after Jeffree Star is literally making me sick with his like ranch dressing eating. Like, that truly had no business being in here. And then we get a taste for the things to come.
I'm gonna pee really fast.
Okay, I'm not thirsty though.
Well, you better start doing some jumping jacks and work up a sweat jack skeleton because Shane Dawson drinks 7 Diet Cokes a day and he's got a torrential stream of piss cooking up for you. See how gross it is with Jeffree Star's just stupid shock humor? If this documentary were a car, the make and model would be garbage truck. What do you guys think of this first episode? From here on, we go into the big surprise that Shane's gonna do a collaboration with Jeffree Star. And there's lots more awkward fillers to come. Give me your thoughts and opinions and what other Shane Dawson content I should hit up in the comments below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this one. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications if you always want to be the first to know when we've got to flip to a new channel. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus episodes and virtual watch parties every month. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for getting into the beautiful world of doobadoo with me. I will see you next time.